President Tinubu has approved the immediate implementation of the revised procurement thresholds for MDA'S. This approval is based on the recommendation of the DGBPP to align with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Well, the details of the implementation guidelines will be provided by the DG himself. That's Dr. Adebowale Adetokun. Joining me to talk more on the act is Dr. Abdul Maman of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply Chain Management of Nigeria. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you for having me.
Great. How does this recent development by Mr. President align with the renewed hope agenda?
It is quite novel and is a fundamental initiative and action of Mr. President to ensure that the First Nigeria policy is enshrined in a way and manner that will benefit the entire manufacturing activities in the country. And following by the approved threshold approval limit, it gives opportunity for MDA'S, parastatals, government agencies and commissions to be able to finance or pay for contracts as at when due. And what it just made is that it followed the structure that were in existence before now. And specifically, to add value to what we're doing is that about procurement activities, you need to ensure that what is required is provided as at when due. And once that happens, the service provider must also be taken into consideration for payments to be made as at when due. And if that happens, you need to enhance the capacity and capability of the accounting officers in the Ministry, Development and agencies. That's exactly what I believe this first tranche of your question is to address.
Okay, let's talk about the Nigeria First initiative. What does it really entail, and is it a policy we can realize?
It is a policy because it is well thought out by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the CFR. Over time, part of his renewed hope agenda is centered on ensuring that Nigeria takes their destiny into their hands. And by doing that, you have to have an opportunity to have a wider view of what happens in other climes. He had been able to articulate a particular economic reform initiative that dovetail into the First Nigeria policy. The First Nigeria policy has its spread objectives that are tied to, one, issues that has to do with economic development, and which means that there must be an opportunity for Nigerians to be able to showcase their capacity and capability in manufacturing activities locally and not to depend, again, much more on importation. So, which means ban on importation. The social aspect of it is this, that infrastructure development is very, very key. Infrastructure development will enable Nigerians who are into business to be able to move their products and their items, whatever it may be, from point A to point B with clear-cut manifestation of what is required to stabilize an economy. Then they can touch every aspect of the country to make it a realizable objective of the Mr. President. The third flank has to do with security, where people, because it is usually said that an idle mind is a mind workshop, it's a devil's workshop or something thereabout. So as a result of this, they have clinical understanding, because churning out this particular policy is to ensure that Nigerians are engaged. And once you are engaged, you'll be able to prove your capacity and capability in making things available that will also service the country as a whole. And that is exactly the flanks upon which this particular initiative is brought in, and most sincerely and last has to do with transfer of technology as well as skills. And on the issue of transfer of technology, you steal technology by making sure that you understudy what is available and convincingly translate it into what you have the capacity and realizable extent through strategies to identify what really matters and how well you will be able to convert it to be yours and own that particular production. And once you are able to do that, you can continually from time to time be developing extra capacity to continue to sustain that particular production line. And Nigeria is blessed with a lot of gifts of nature, and we all have it. And the only thing is that how can we harness the possibility of bringing them to bear? And by so doing, that is what the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who had taken a lot of initiatives since he assumed office to make sure that this is a success. And this will definitely engage a lot of Nigerians to be able to put forward what they have the capacity, the competence, the understanding to make available for Nigerians to benefit from.
A very wonderful policy, I must say. But do you think Nigerians are ready?
Yes, what has to be done is this. I quite understand the angle we are looking at, because over time there have been several policies. Nigeria does not lack policy, but implementation becomes the problem that we have faced over time. Implementation of policies would have engendered good practice and ensure that at the end of the day, we will have been able to realize the set goals and objectives of government. And with particular reference to this idea, you mentioned that the Minister of Finance led a team of Nigerians to the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. It is a novel idea because the current Minister, Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy participated in the Country Procurement Assessment Report in year 2000, which actually brought about the reform in procurement as at today for the whole country, and also did pass Vice President of the country, because then the Honorable Minister was Commissioner for Finance in Lagos under the same President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the former Vice President was Commissioner and Attorney General of Justice in Lagos State. They have been able to traverse a lot, length and breadth of other countries to see how best their economic policies have been able to add value to their own existence and making sure the population are able to also get involved and have a buy-in. This is a strategic decision that Mr. President has taken, and it centers much on the activities of the Bureau of Public Procurement. I have no doubt in the capacity of Dr. Debo Adedokun, the Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, to bring together all that it requires is this: the attitude and the manifestation of issues that we need to opt to ensure that we Nigerians take our destiny in our hands by giving every responsible professional opportunities that we desire, so that everyone will have contribution to make at the end of the day for the benefit of the country.
So what role will your institute play alongside BPP and ministries, departments, and agencies?
Yes, my institute, the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply Chain Management, was established alongside the Public Procurement Act in the year 2000 as a fallout from the government initiative when the World Bank carried out a study referred to as Country Procurement Assessment Report in year 2000, that for you to frontally ensure that activities are carried out well and endowed with engendered knowledge, you have to ensure you make use of professionals in this field of endeavor, which means the procurement professionals. And by having procurement professionals, it ensures that there are people who have been tested and have been able to ensure that the commonalities of requirements as with regards to procurement, because procurement is a process of acquisition. And this acquisition process has some methodology that has to do with effective planning system. And once it's effectively planned, then efficiently implemented, you will have value. And our institute has been in existence for the past 51 years, but it was when it clocked 33 years in the year 2000 that the government thought about the initiative of bringing about the reform in public procurement. What we have is that a great number of members of the institute are taking through respective and well-tailored procurement curriculum. And it involves, I'm happy to tell you also that in the curriculum, we train people on entrepreneurship development in Nigeria, as well as international procurement management, also international business, because these are the fulcrums upon which activities, be it local or international, revolves. And when you have that, you only need to have plugs, and plugs them where it requires to be able to assist. Because what happens abroad is similar to what happens in our own country, but we need to localize it to fit and ensure that the government realize value at the end of the day. Within the value chain, you distill every necessary information regarding to capacity, capability, and which we do in liaison with the Bureau of Public Procurement. That's why I'm calling on the DG of the Bureau of Public Procurement, that he has a lot of job cuts out for that office. And you have to understand that we come together as an institute to be able to run this particular initiative of Mr. President for the benefit of Nigerians, because we Nigerians own Nigerians. And as a result of that, we should be able to ensure that we support the government to realize our set goals and objectives.
Well, I must say a very big thank you to you, Dr. Abdul Mamad, for sharing your thoughts with us. this afternoon.
Thank you very much.